Unfiltered podcast. Monday. Today is September 25th, 2023. Oh my God. Why am I looking ahead so much? Recap. Week 3 NFL. Not done yet, but week 3 Sunday NFL. You know, everybody said that this week was going to be it's a shit week in NFL. The schedule looks like crap. And I warned folks, I go, yeah, I agree, but this is the problem when you say that. Those are when some of the surprises happen. When those weeks you figure that it's a week, it's going to be whatever, those are the weeks where we see a lot more surprises. And we had a few yesterday. So it was actually not a bad Sunday football. I mean, a couple blowouts here and there. We'll get to that in a second. Like I said, going to try to keep this feed more active, more topic-centric. This one might go, I like to just do, like, on this feed, do daily topics that typically is time-sensitive and 10 minutes or under. This one might go a little over because we're doing more of a recap of the weekend at large in the NFL. I would touch on college right now, but I'm not going to do that. But let's get to it first here as I bring up the scores from yesterday. Let's give my quick reaction to some of these games from week 3 NFL. Cleveland Browns 27, Tennessee Titans 3. You know, the Browns might be the team in the AFC I think is going to bust some brackets up. First off, easily Deshaun Watson's best game as a Brown since signing there a year ago. Easy's best game. Could he add on to this going forward with South Shea? I do think there's room for improvement and definitely room for him to get back in that conversation of top 10 quarterbacks where he was 2 years ago. But definitely Easy's his best game as a Brown. You know, I look back at this game, I'm thinking to myself with the Browns, like, you know, if the Browns play their cards right against Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh wasn't that good in that game against Cleveland on Monday Night Football last week. The Browns did their job. Deshaun Watson doesn't throw those picks late in the game. This is a 3-0 team, and we're having a different discussion right now about the Browns, whether or not they're actually one of the best teams in the conference. Just saying, because look, the offense is not that great, but defensively they're solid. I mean, Myles Garrett is a boss. So, just saying, interesting 2-1 Browns. They're actually the most, I would say in the AFC right now, the most interesting team for me moving forward. And let's see how good this team really is. The Bengals 0-2 start. Obviously, we'll see how they play tonight. Steelers, 2-1 now, but we'll see how that goes. And obviously, Baltimore, we'll get in a second. Detroit Lions 20, Atlanta Falcons 6. Detroit first, second win of the year, but first real good win in a way where it's like convincing and it's okay. This is the Detroit team we all predicted would win the division. Although I hadn't won in the wild card really, but I think it's a big one for Detroit, honestly, because if they lose this game now, all the goodwill coming to the year about the Lions, that goes away. Atlanta 2-0 coming to the game. Losing the first game of the year. Not surprised, really, honestly. Back to the drawing board for them. Green Bay 18, New Orleans 17. Packers come back from a 17-0 deficit. My wife's pissed off about the game. She's a big Saints fan. Derek Carr gets hurt in the game. Did not return. Both these teams are interesting. And both these teams, I don't know how good they are. There's a high ceiling to this team, obviously. Both these teams when they play the cards right. I think Jordan Love was decent. I still haven't seen a great Jordan Love game, but he's been solid for them so far. Green Bay, I think, is a solid team, though. I think with the NFC being as wide open as it is, they really might be a wild card contender, possibly even a division contender if things play out going forward. We shall see. I mean, especially Minnesota being as bad as they are, which, by the way, they lost 2024. They're now 0-3. Look, they don't feel like a bottom 5 team in the league for me, but they're probably going to be in the bottom 5 this week, most likely, by virtue of the record. What is it now? 8 fumbles in 3 games? But yeah, Kirk Cousins is a problem, right? Come on now. Ridiculous. Both these teams in this win, both were 0-2 coming into the game. It's funny, both were 0-2, and yet, coming into the week, this was easily the most intriguing game of the weekend. Both these teams were playoff teams last year, for the record. But Minnesota Chargers win that game. Big win for the Chargers there. They needed it. I think it was actually a must win for the Chargers than it was for the Vikings, because even the Vikings are 0-3, I could see them reeling out a couple wins here in that conference. It's not really at least right now, we'll see how things play out, but I feel like the AFC is tougher to recover from than the NFC is. So I think the Chargers are going to win more than the Vikings. The Vikings, I can still see reeling out a couple wins here and get back into the playoff race, honestly. Although I don't know if they will do that. All right, in the game that obviously shocked the most, shocked everyone yesterday, the Miami Dolphins absolutely blitzed the Denver Broncos 70-20. A game which my little brother, who's a massive Broncos fan, attended. My other brother and I were clowning him about that because we were telling him, how you gonna waste all your money on your senior team to get blown out in the second most scoring game in history of the NFL. You give up. Again, I put up a tweet yesterday too, especially in which people did not understand. Denver gonna have so many points for somehow it's Russell Wilson's fault. Again, he's not the problem. I agree, Russell Wilson has not been special. I agree, the return on the investment for Russell Wilson has not been there. In other words, the money they paid for Russell Wilson, Denver did coming to last year, the return on the investment is not there. And we agree last year Russell Wilson was crap. He hasn't been crap this year. He's been actually really good this year. Very solid. Is he been $235 million great? No. We agree to that. But he's not the problem. You don't give up 35 points and 70 points back to weeks and things. He's the problem. That's that simple. So Denver, they got issues. They got massive issues on defense. They've massively regressed on defense this year. Meanwhile, the Dolphins 3-0. My God, this team is scary. How about this? Jalen Waddle didn't even play the game yesterday, and they still won like this. Next week's game is Buffalo, massive game. This will be one of the games I believe will tell us a lot more about Miami moving forward as not just a contender to the playoffs. Obviously, they're a contender now. We look at Miami now going forward, if they win against Buffalo next week, as a Super Bowl contender in the ilk of the Kansas Cities and whatnot. Okay? So, job well done on the Dolphins there, of course. Patriots 15, Jets 10. Snooze fest, defensive battle. The over-under in this game actually went down to as low as 35 points, and it was not low enough. And I should have bet the under. I actually thought about betting the under anyway, even at 35 points. Zach Wilson, he's on borrowed time at this point now. He's on borrowed time. The Dolphins has done nothing with him as a quarterback. So, it's that simple. The Pats aren't that much better, but they find ways to win. Their defense is elite. That's simple. Jets are done, pretty much. And the Patriots are going to just be the Patriots. Buffalo Bills 37, Washington Commanders 3. The Bills, this is the big win for them because not only because they won the game against Washington, but also another style points win. A lot of folks like myself have looked at this team as, I don't say problematic, but there's things there. There's questions there. Is the window closed? And again, it's against Washington, who's now come back to earth finally after winning 2 games in a row out the gate. But again, like I said earlier, we'll know next week if they could beat Miami, they're the hottest team in the league right now. That changes a little perception going forward, at least in the first quarter of the year. Josh Allen looks like his old self again, but again, we'll see how they do against actual competition on level. Houston Texans 37, Jacksonville Jaguars 17. This is a game that my wife swore up and down bet the Jaguars, and I did it for her, and she's pissed off now, and she's done betting parlays. And Houston has Jacksonville's number in Jacksonville. Remember last year, Jags lost to Houston also 9-0. Now this week, Houston does it again. C.J. Stroud had a massive game on Sunday. The Jags might be right now out the chute the most disappointing team in the league right now, given the expectations. And they might still win the division. We'll see. Lots of things playing out in that division right now. It's a little weird, but it's only 3 weeks. Speaking of weird, the Colts now 2-1. They beat the Ravens in the first upset of the weekend, 22-19 in overtime. And imagine this: you win in Baltimore without your quarterback, your starting quarterback. Still find a way to win. And granted, Baltimore's down 9-7 starters. Be clear about that. But still impressed nonetheless. The Colts are frisky, man. The Colts are frisky. They probably almost beat Jacksonville in week 1. That was a game that had in hand for a good three and a half quarters. Last week they win against Houston on the road. And then they win on the road game against the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, look, it's just 3 weeks, but Indy looks pretty decent, man. They look pretty solid. Are they going to win like 7-8 games in the playoffs? I don't know, but through a 3-week sample, very impressive. I thought this team would be arguably the worst team in football this year, and they clearly right now are not. Clearly, I didn't get that memo. Clearly, 4:00 games yesterday. The Seattle Seahawks beat the Carolina Panthers 37-27. Carolina's not that good. They're not good at all. They're not 0-3. It is what it is. Seattle's a game they had to win. It's that simple. When Bryce Young is not playing that game, and yet you're only a 4-point favorite at home, and a home field advantage that you have, that people give credit as one of the best home field advantages in football, you better win that game and cover, and they did. So kudos to them. The other blowout here, 41-10 Chiefs over the Bears. This game was so interesting. The only thing interesting about this game was the fact that Taylor Swift showed up to the game, and she's allegedly dating Travis Kelce, and that's it. I mean, this game was predictable as sky's blue, water's wet. The Bears are right now the worst team in football. That's simple. They are a absolute dumpster fire. And that's that. The only interesting game in this game is Taylor Swift. That is it. And by the way, don't really care. Like I think she's a sweet. She's like an absolute sweetheart in my opinion, Taylor Swift. But I don't. If they make it past the holidays, I'll be surprised. This whole thing with her and Travis Kelce feels like a publicity stunt. And Travis Kelce is going a little more Hollywood these days. Which, by the way, shout out to him. I have no problem with it whatsoever. You do you. I have no problem with you living your best life. I support it. But this feels like a PR feel to me right now. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's how I feel going into this thing. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, whatever. We'll see. If they're together, if they're friends or together past the holidays, past Christmas, I'll be impressed. All right, and then the shocking game of the weekend, the Arizona Cardinals, those frisky Cardinals, beat the Dallas Cowboys 28-16. What is clear is Arizona is not the worst team in football right now. That is clear because these guys could be easily 3-0 right now. They should be in Washington week 1. They should have beat my Giants last week, honestly, blowing that 20-0 lead. And then they beat Dallas, who many believe are going to the Super Bowl this year, including myself. And beat Dallas fairly convincingly. Like, Dallas was really never in this game. Like, Dallas was down from the word go and never really recovered. And here's what I'll say to Cowboys fans on this. Is it a bad loss? Absolutely, it's a bad loss. You lost the Cardinals. Will it define your season? We don't know yet. Because if the Dallas Cowboys, we live another 3-4 games right now going forward, this game be forgotten. So let's not over-panic either. Chalk it up to a bad day. You overlook this team, and that's it. They'll still be a top 10 team in my rankings come this week when we do my power rankings. Spoiler alert. But they'll definitely get dinged. They're definitely going to get dinged on the rankings. Definitely. They're still a top 10 team in the league. They're still a Super Bowl contender. That's going to change. Now, if they lose again next week, we'll have a couple of losses going forward. Yeah, definitely got an issue. But right now, I'm at the bigger picture. Am I down on Dallas? No. It's a bad week. It happens. Get over it. All right, finally, last one. Steelers 23, Vegas Raiders 18, a game that I was falling asleep on to the fourth quarter. This game got interesting. Josh McDaniels should be on the hot seat, man. Some of the coaching he did last night was truly dreadful. Steelers 2-1. Like I said, unimpressive offense for the most part. Although Kenny Pickett looked pretty solid yesterday for the most part. Look, this is the Steelers team I had going to the playoffs. Certainly at 2-1 now. They recovered well from that loss to San Francisco week 1. But I need to see more. Obviously, the defense is incredible, but for them to get to the next level, they need that offense to pick up and be more consistent going forward. So, Anyway, that's for me this week on this week's rap reaction to week 3 in the NFL on Sunday. Like I said, I'll do more of these hopefully daily, hopefully time sensitive topics, 10 minutes or less, that kind of thing. We'll see. If you obviously know who I am, I'm Ernest EJ Christian. Check out my main show, the Ernest Podcast. We got a lot of shows coming up this week, so gear up for that one. So until the next one, we will talk soon. Later.